Hello, everyone. I'm Leslie. Thanks for being here with us at Wise Balance Accounting. This week, we've been talking about business operations and systems. And systems are important because they help us to create consistency. When invoicing, payroll, and reporting follow the same process every time, there are fewer fail points and fewer things fall through the cracks. In addition, systems help us to create clarity and reduce the mental load of running a business. So today I want to talk through a simple way to think about systems, especially those around accounting and business operations, that'll help you see where things are working and what areas may need attention. So I'm losing my voice. I'm going to have a little drink of water. Okay, so most of the time, operational issues aren't about effort. You're working hard, your staff is working hard. The challenge is sometimes work happens without clear timing, clear limits, or clear ownership of tasks. If the same tasks keep coming back up, or if follow-up depends on someone just remembering to check back in, these things, these kinds of things can cause delays. So for example, with invoicing, if there isn't a clear cutoff date, if there's not a clear review procedure, a person designated responsible, invoices may go out late because no one owns that moment that they're supposed to go out. To resolve these kinds of issues, we recommend a clear system. And the goal here isn't to add more work or more tools, it's to add clarity. A system can make the work visible. So it shows you when things should happen, who's responsible, and what's complete versus what's still in progress. When that's clear, it helps you to see what's really happening in your business so you can identify which adjustments might make things easier. So clarity is really beneficial in your business operations. And it usually shows up in a couple of ways. It means that you can trust the numbers you're looking at. You don't have to keep everything in your head. You're not constantly double checking yourself. And when those things are clear, the business takes up less mental space. So that's why it's important to look at how your systems are set up, whether they actually work, and how they're maintained. This is where a lot of businesses get tripped up. They might be using old systems, things that just don't work anymore, or they jump straight to tools and automation, AI, lots of AI products out there now. But if you do that before the principles behind those systems are clear, it may cause more problems than it solves. So that's why you need clarity before automation. A lot of frustration can get blamed on software or those technological systems, but most systems struggle for a different reason. It's because the expectations were never clear to begin with. So when setting up systems or automation, you have to clarify things like, how do you really want that process to go? Who starts the process? Who enters information? What needs approval and when is something final? And without that clearly outlined, the tool won't do the job that you expect it to do, even if it's a good tool. Take payroll. If it's not clear when timesheets need to be submitted, who reviews it, who approves it, who might need to transfer funds to cover payroll, and when does that happen? Then it could turn into a last minute scramble, even if you are using a good software. So if your expectations are clear, then automation actually does what it's supposed to do, which is to support your decision making and streamline processes instead of creating extra work. So one of those areas where processes is very important is during month end. So clarity, especially around timing and boundaries, matter in a few key areas. That's when our transactions considered final for the month, when our payroll entries and accruals completed, when our receipts, expense reports, and other documentation due. And these guidelines help everyone to know when the month-end reports are completed versus if they're still in progress. It'll allow you to close the month and the numbers be reliable so that your month-end reports turns into something that you can actually use to make decisions. So even with clear systems and well set up automation, there's still another important piece to account for, and that's capacity. Every business runs on people, and people have limits. You have limits on your time, your attention, your energy. You might get the flu, but so systems help the work move more smoothly, but they don't create more hours in the day. They don't give you more energy. So that's where your capacity and limits need to come into play. When real capacity isn't taken into consideration, you might get more work done for a while, but still end up feeling stretched, rushed, or worn down, or you could feel like things are slipping through the cracks. So some areas where adding clearer limits that acknowledge true capacity make a big difference are, for instance, intake. So what comes in, when it comes in, and what can wait. Another is timing. So for cutoffs, for payroll, for month end, for paying invoices. Review and approval is another really common pressure point. So when too many things depend on one person, that person's capacity can get stretched really quickly. So if you're clear about what matters most, what things can wait, when things need to be done, that keeps everything from feeling urgent all the time so that you can plan reasonable deadlines and workloads. So when all your systems, your timing, and your capacity are aligned, then the work is going to feel a lot more manageable. So today I want to leave you with a simple way to bring all of this together. When something feels off, if things feel stressed, rushed, or your capacity is overstretched, start by just looking in one place at a time. So where should you look? You can start by looking at how work enters in your business. That means new client requests. Where do they come in? Who sees them first? How do they move forward? Even with your current clients, what time frame for response are clients expecting? Vendor invoices. Again, how do they arrive? Who processes them? Is there a clear point when they're considered received, approved, ready to pay? And with employees, payroll, timesheets, who approves it, when, who submits it, who reviews it. So those are some key areas that you might look at if you're feeling stretched. A couple of other areas are where decisions are made. Looking at pricing decisions, who sets them, what information is it based on? Are they up to date with your true costs? For staffing decisions, you can ask, when do we usually realize that we need more coverage? Who has the authority to approve overtime or schedule changes? And are we relying on the same few people to absorb shortages? If you look at your spending decisions, you can ask, who has the authority to approve different types of spending? Are spending decisions being made with current numbers, or are they based on estimates or outdated information? Do approvals slow down because, again, they're dependent on just one person's availability? Maybe also are small purchases adding up without being reviewed as a whole? So you want to look at whether or not the numbers are showing up in time to support your decisions. Are your reports current enough to be useful? Or are decisions being made on outdated information? You can look at where work slows down. Anywhere you have to end up repeating tasks or something stays unfinished longer than it should. These areas usually point to missing timing, unclear ownership, or limits that haven't been defined yet. Now, don't try to change too much at once. You probably already have an inkling of where to start, where you think your issues might be, what feels hardest right now, what gives you the most stress. Just start there and address one issue at a time. When you gain clarity or start to see improvement in one area, then you can move on to the next area that needs attention. So as a takeaway, systems, clarity, and intentional boundaries matter in your business. They are what make the work easier to manage and the business easier to run. If you'd like help thinking through where to start looking at your systems, we're always happy to have a conversation. You can reach out to us directly or schedule some time with us. I'll put my booking calendar link and my direct contact information in the comments for you. So thanks for spending some time with us today. We look forward to seeing you live again next week.